things like from Sylvester Stallone and all these people that had went through a lot of struggle to get where they were, and they have some powerful stuff out there that kind of give you a different outlook on life. And every morning, because I was going through a crisis too, and so we were kind of supporting each other through our crisis, and we would listen to those CDs whenever we went somewhere, to encourage us. When Marty, evidently, he was listening more than I thought he was, because I was trying to encourage him to do some things, but he had started doing things on his own, where he had found out about this apprenticeship program. And what he did was he applied for it, as well as applying for other jobs, and he would get a little discouraged if he didn't get any responses. He just thought it was useless, but he got this call, okay? And he wanted to go for the interview, and he told me about it and everything, and I drove him to the interview and everything, and it was for JR Electric Company. And they were bringing these young men in, and I think they were looking at trying to help some of these guys that had past history. And Marty was accepted in the program right away, and he was so excited. And he really got into it, and, I helped him get all the supplies and things that he needed and stuff. He started the program. He had to be there 5 o'clock in the morning. So Grandma had to get up out of her bed and, take him downtown to make sure he was on work on time. And he was so into it. So I decided to purchase him a car. And that way he could take himself back and forth, and he didn't have to worry about me, taking him. And he got into it. He was studying for the apprenticeship training. It was a type of training that you had to study for, and once you passed that, then you were accepted all the way into the apprenticeship program. He wanted to be an electrician. So he was studying this hard algebra, this geometry and stuff. But he was sitting up all night studying that stuff, go to sleep, get ready to go to work. He was doing it. He was really applying himself 100%. And then after he got the car, he was applying himself 100%. He was really excited. He saw the light come on in his eyes and give him a different outlook in life. He kind of made a couple of comments to me, right? So about, Grandma, you know what? I said, what, Mark? This working thing is something else, ain't it? I said, yes. Because he found out you got to go to bed, you got to get up, you got to go to work. Ain't no bull crap, right? Talking to no girls on the phone all night long. You got to hang that phone up and get some rest, right? And he was working hard, because at first they would have him there before they get him in the electric part. He was doing laborer type work. They had to take the supplies and stuff and give it to him and go and pick up. And he would come home, he'd be knocked out, right? He couldn't even open his eyes to eat his dinner, right? But he was hanging in there. He was really excited about it. Well, this particular night, I was working as a temp at a temp agency. I had taken on a 7-day assignment. I was working 3 to 11.
What's the name of it? I just want to.
What is that? Exchange.
Oh,
the exchange.
I do some part time for Inner Solutions. That's why.
Right. Yeah. And I do it for the exchange.
Okay. Shout out.
Yeah.
Got to have
y'all need to cut the middleman and do it yourself.
And so, he started, so I was working, and that Saturday he had worked overtime, and so he told me, I kept calling and checking on him, because I want to hear about his experience of working in overtime, working all those days like that. And he was so excited, and I finally reached him. He said, I got off at 12, Grandma. He said, but if they let me work at 3, I would work at 3. If they let me come in tomorrow, I'll come in tomorrow. I did 7 days a week. So I said, slow down, Marty, slow down. Yeah. No, Grandma, I'm going for the money. I said, I understand that. I said, but you don't want to work yourself. I can do it, Grandma. I'm telling you, if they do it, I'm going to get ready to sign up for all overtime. Any overtime they give me, I'm signing up for that. I'm telling you. So, I said, well, what are you going to do? So he said, well, I'm on my dad's, kicking around with him a little bit. I'll probably go out a little gal or something later on. I said, well, Marty, that's cool. You've been working real hard. And, you need to get out and enjoy yourself a little bit. Grandma understand. I'm definitely not mad at you, know. And, and so he was like, okay, Grandma. So I said, okay, Marty, I'll see you later. I may not see you when I get home tonight or whatever, but I'll see you later. And my last words to him was, I'm so proud of you. I said, Marty, from here, listen to Grandma, ain't no way you going but up. You hear me? You going up. And he just, that's his little laugh, get snicker. Okay, Grandma. And I said, I love you, Marty. And he said, I love you too, Grandma. And I'm good. And that's the last words I heard from my grandson. He did not return from the person that he met, or whoever he went to meet. He met this girl. We found out later, because we had to do research and everything. My daughter drove up one, and we realized we hadn't seen or heard from him in 3 days. we realized something was wrong, and my daughter drove up here. She went through his phone, and I mean, we didn't have his phone, but we fought from Boost Mobile to get his records because they weren't gonna give it to us. But then I told them, help us out, please. He's missing, something going on. We need to find out who he last talked to, please. And so we did that, and they gave us.
So you had to fight with Boost Mobile. You got the phone records on your own. You got the phone records on your own. And that's the question I wanted to get into. The phone records on your own, found a car on your own.
Yes.
Yes, she did.
And I want to be the cell phone.
We never found the cell phone.
Oh, we never found the cell phone.
On him, right? He had that.
No, Ms. Cook, let me ask you. So after those 3 days, Marty is missing. You contacted the police, right?
No, his father.
His father contacted the police.
His father lives in D.C. and he stays over his father's house. And when me and his father was conversating, we was trying to put the pieces together. And then that's when his father said, something is wrong. Something is wrong. He said, I'm getting ready to call the police. I'm getting ready to call the police. I said, you go ahead. Well, I called the job. I called his PO officer, probation officer, whatever, to see if he showed up, because I know he would show up there because he didn't want no trouble. And when I called them and they said, no, Tuesday he was supposed to be here and he never showed up. I knew then something bad was wrong. Something bad was wrong.
What prompted you to go and look and search for your grandson's car on your own after you guys have already made the report? So you already on it.
Yeah, we were already on it. Yeah, we was looking for his car. We were going out. My daughter was coming to Fridays, and when she got work, she lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, and she was driving up here when she got off from work. So the whole time she was here, she was driving the street all night long, and I was driving all day and all night. We were driving the street. We couldn't find anything. Where I got the first detective that was on the case told me one day when I called him to check the status of his case. He tells me, "Oh yeah, by the way, Marty's car radared on," because I reported it stolen in Maryland. I reported it stolen, because the first detective told me not to, but my mother, God rest her soul, because she's gone now. She told me, she said, if I were you, I would call and report that car stolen. I don't care what nobody said.
Exactly,
and,
yes.
So that's what I did. I called and reported it stolen in Maryland, but it went off on the radar twice in D.C. Okay, on Texas Avenue, he said, and then over by Eastern Avenue. But he didn't do anything. He just said, I just want to let you know that. So I said, because I didn't know you're supposed to do anything either. So I was like, oh, okay. But then when he told me that, I kept driving those areas, looking and looking and looking. And then one day I was driving, coming down Eastern Avenue, and I just got a hunch to turn down Foot Street. And I turned down Foot Street, and it was the third car on Foot Street. It was sitting there parked, freshly washed and parked.
Did they print it at all? Did they?
I had to fight with them to print it because they were saying because we didn't have the keys, they wasn't gonna jam the lock. So if you have it towed to your house in Maryland and then maybe you can get it open, then we'll see if Maryland would fingerprint it for you. Call Maryland now and tell them what you're trying to do, and I'm gonna see if you can't get them to fingerprint it. Well, when I called Maryland was telling me, no, it's their case. We're not fingerprinting anything. So even if you have it towed to Maryland, if they don't fingerprint, we're not going to fingerprint. It's not our case. It's their case.
All of that.
And you are telling them that it is unusual for your grandson not to
I told them it's very unusual.
Anyone.
Right, and they were thinking,
and his car, you found his car, you called the police, and they tell you got to actually get the car towed
to my house,
to your house,
right, and get Maryland to unlock, to get Maryland to fingerprint it, because they have to get it off the street and all this. So if you're gonna take it, I'm not gonna leave it there. Right. I'm not gonna leave it here. Right. I'm gonna have it towed somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, I'm taking this car. I'm not gonna leave it here.
Exactly. Right.
So I told them, no, I'll tow it have it towed to my house, but can't y'all take the fingerprints? And they were telling me, no, we can't do certain things in Maryland. See if Maryland can come and take the fingerprints. When I called Maryland Police Department, he's standing right there. The detective called. He gonna give me the phone. Call him. I calls them, and they're telling me on the phone, no, ma'am. It's not our case. We're not gonna come out and we're not gonna come out and do no fingerprints. No, we're not. So we went back and forth with that until my daughter called and kind of snapped in my mind. She said, Mom, do this. We don't want them banging up the car and all that. She said, just call a locksmith. So then the detective said, oh, yeah, well, I know a locksmith you can call over here right away. Well, why didn't you tell me that first? But anyway, he told me that. So I had them to come, and then they open up the car, and they take the fingerprints. They out there taking all the fingerprints, you know, whatever.
I don't understand why when you had reported the car there and you're there calling the police, your grandson is missing, and they get there talking about get the car in your house, and anything could be in that car for evidence of your grandson miss anything. I don't get that.
No,
wow.
That makes no sense. And as I'm trying to talk to the detective to tell him this, he started hollering in my face, telling me, "Excuse me, as I told you before, don't do my job. I know how to do my job. I've been doing this 30-some years. Don't tell me how to do my job." Okay, and I'm getting angry, and I'm crying, and I'm hollering, and I'm screaming. Okay, and his father, Marty's father, trying to calm me down, right? And he said, "Marty's somewhere around here, probably around somewhere around here anyway, probably watching us. Come on out, Marty. Come on out, Marty." Giving me a little bit of false hope, and I'm thinking, well, maybe he is. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe he's somewhere high up and don't know. Maybe he's real high. Maybe he's scared. Maybe he messed up. You see what I'm saying? And his father pulls me to the side and said a little birdie song or something in his ear, described the person was driving the car. And he whispered in my ear, he said, "Marty was not driving that car." I'm telling you right now, Felicia, Marty was not driving that car. And then I was crushed one more time. Because I know that my grandson was just willing to give his keys to his car to nobody.
Exactly.
Right? So if he wasn't driving it, I knew for sure something was really bad. You know, I knew that then.
Miss Cook, Marty resided at your address, right?
Well, he resided with his father and me both. He kind of stayed with us both because he liked to split his time, and we fight over him if he was doing good. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he feel bad sometimes. He said, "Well, Grandma, I'm going over to my dad's," and had that look in my eyes. I'll be back, Grandma. I'll be back. You know? So he really stayed with us both. That's what I was trying to tell the police, but they were so busy trying to enforce that. Well, his address is resident in Maryland. No, his residence is both places. He had ID in D.C. His what you call that thing, apprenticeship thing came back, not accepted. They raised him because he lived in D.C. from what he was making per hour, more per hour, because he was living in D.C. He lived both places. He could do that if he wanted to. Both was had, you know, one of them with us. That was his dad.
Right.
That all even shouldn't have mattered.
Exactly. It shouldn't have.
So let me ask you, the car, what did the police department end up doing with the car? Just taking the fingerprints?
Yeah, they just and I took it to my house, and that's all they did. And then we just had to wait a month for that.
For the results of the...
Yes.
May I ask you a question? All right, your son has been missing for quite a while. When you called the car in stolen, how quickly did they respond? I'm just curious.
They came out that day to, you know, PG did. They came out and took the report.
Right.
And they put it in as stolen. Of course, I explained to them what was going on in D.C. and what he was missing. And they put it in. But that's, you know, they did do that. That's why it went off like it did. But the thing that really made me mad, and I will never get over, okay, is the fact that when the car went off, and I found that out when the Uber driver, his car went off and going through the New Jersey Turnpike, and then they pulled that car over, they jumped right on that. They pulled them over, and them guys that was driving the car was the perps, and then the perps led them to where the body was. Okay, led them to where the man's remains was down in South Carolina. And when I saw that, then I knew what they were supposed to have done.
Right.
Okay, they were supposed to go after that car. They were supposed to have gone after it, and they didn't. They didn't.
Wow.
They didn't.
This website, Plenty of Fish, is that the website, Marty?
Yeah, he met this young lady on Plenty of Fish, and we found that out from going through his phone records, going through his computer, seeing who he was communicating with. My daughter found out everything about that girl, including her name, where she lived at, where she used to live at, where her mother, father lived at. Her father lived in Florida. My daughter did all that.
Wow.
She did all that.
No. Y'all was outstanding though,
right?
With that whole search for him, so y'all really did.
Right.
With with the female, I've been researching a lot.
Right.
She didn't have her phone, supposedly.
That's what she told the detectives when they questioned her.
So what happened to her phone? Where was her phone?
That's what they said. That's what they said. Well, where was your phone? She said, well, she lost it. I lost it. I lost my phone. I ain't had no phone. He wasn't talking to me. I don't know who he was talking to, because he wasn't talking to me.
Oh, so that wasn't her. Well, wait,
yeah, that's what that was. And she don't know who that was, but he wasn't talking to me.
Wow.
Did y'all had a picture of this young lady and everything?
My daughter found out everything about that girl. Everything. She knew about her father that lives in Florida. They went to one of her friend's house and knocked on his door. Okay.
That's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, it was very dangerous, and I was scared, but my daughter wasn't having it. She was off the chase.
Exactly.
She was
If the police are doing
she was on fire. She was on fire. You hear me?
If you want something done right,
That's
I thought she was gonna beat me up. You know what I mean? I got scared of my own daughter. You know, she was like, "You
Yeah.
gotta get off of me," and out the door she went.
Yeah.
By herself.
Yeah. But that's how a person is looking for their child.
Right.
And, you know, knowing that their child is in distress, they ain't thinking about shit.
Right. That's where
Okay.
she was.
They ain't thinking about nothing.
She was fired up.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't stop her from going out the door or anything. All I could do was just pray and hope that nothing happened to her. But she was finding the answers.
One of our listeners says it sounds like whatever this girl is set him up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, I've been really, like I say, Ms. Cook, I've been really, you too, Ms. Bailey, I've been really researching Ms. Cook, really, right? And I know I can ask you this. Your thoughts on Monty McMillan, your thoughts on what happened, where he could be.
I think Marty went to meet that young lady and I think what he met was not what he expected. I think he thought that she was cool. I think he had been talking to her for a minute. Okay?
See, that's what I told Rose.
He had been talking to her.
That's what I told Rose. I said,
yeah.
I told Rose, I said, I know young guys.
Mm-hmm.
I know a handsome young guy, Marty. The dreads, fresh comp, working, money in the pocket.
Yes.
And I already know. I just felt like I told Rose, this is somebody that he was frequently talking to.
Yes.
Now you mentioned his past, right?
Right.
Does that come in play? Does that come in?
I think
in your head, anything, maybe?
I think about that sometimes. If it hadn't went down another way, then I would have thought maybe because he tried to stay away from them people. Mm-hmm. That was one of the things he mentioned to me. He saw somebody they met on DC jail, and he was like, "Grandma, I almost got caught up." I said, "Well, what happened, Marty?" He said, "Dude was telling me, come on, you had some girls and all this stuff." He said, "I said to myself," he said, "You know, he didn't want to ignore people. It's a street code,
right?
You know
Right,
you don't
exactly.
Ignore people, start acting like you better than
right.
And he was like, "Man," so I told him, I said, "Man, I tell you what, I get with you later because I got something to do right now, but I get with you later." And a couple of people was telling them about the apprenticeship program, trying to help them out too, you know, telling them about the program he was in. So I knew that he wasn't all gun-ho. You understand? To go back around the same people, places, and things.
Exactly.
He was trying to ease himself out of that. You see what I'm saying? Ease himself away from these people. So if it hadn't have been that his mind hadn't set or whatever, I might would have thought, okay, I hope he didn't, you know, get caught up with these people.
Well, my thoughts, since you have told us this was probably somebody frequently he was talking to, and my thoughts, maybe he was working while he had the whip. That's what I believe. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong person. In other words,
right.
That's just what I believe. I'm telling you, Ms. Cook, that's what I really believe and something with this young lady. I mean, it's just funny, you know, all of a sudden now. I don't even know what y'all talking.
Nothing that he could have done unless could have brought him that type of outcome.
Right, that kind of end.
You know, it could nothing that he could have done.
And you know what's funny though? You said the that alert on the car had hit two different places. You said
Texas Avenue and Eastern Avenue.
And then you got Foot Street that ain't far.
Right.
So
I'm
right in the vicinity. That's right.
In a circle.
Right. Yeah.
You feel me? That's why my thoughts are like, you know, some haters or some you know, bastards. In other words,
street bastards. That's what I call them.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, Ms. Cook, I have been seeing you Facebook Live. Martin Luther King being your mentor as well as mine on civil rights, and I think you have your thoughts, and I can tell you what the God, you know. God fan, you know. That is your fight as far as with the civil rights, with the civil rights thing. Understanding the situation, but as far as them doing what they supposed to do. And I feel because you just said that they followed the guy, they tracked his GPS and went all the way to South Carolina. Trust me.
He was going through the turnpike, okay? They was going through the turnpike. The Perks was going through the turnpike, going to New Jersey Turnpike, right? And the car went off. It pegged. The sheriffs or whatever went after that. They went after him, they chased them down, pulled them over, arrested them. You get me? And then got them in there, and they told them where that body was, where they had put that man's body, way down in South Carolina. They went down to South Carolina and found the man's body. They beat him to death and took his automobile.
And in so many cases, like I say, me and Black Rose, every day, like I said last week, every single day, I'm looking at all of our news feeds, and somebody is missing. And it's a different case. And, you know, some have came home, runaways. I see older people. I see men. I see women. I see Spanish. I see African, Black, white, you know. And like you said, I feel you. I mean, I've been watching your lives. And as far as our rights, I mean, look what you had to go through. Michael Muse, Valencia Harris, as far as the investigations. Yes. Even with the Relisha Rudd case, they don't have a lot of effort at all when it comes to a missing person.
I'm gonna give you one instance here. I'm gonna give you one instance how our justice and civil rights are being violated, why we're not being rendered resources as everyone else is being rendered. Now, one of them is, okay, how did they know that Marty not have his phone on him, or when they killed him, they left his phone on him? Okay, I asked them to please track his phone. Track his phone. Don't tell me they couldn't, because a young man that worked for Boost that wasn't supposed to do that as a manager, okay, I gave him the number. He tracked the phone. He got a very low signal, though. He couldn't get it to come all the way through and hang in there. Okay, so I'm bringing that to the police's attention, and I'm saying to them, you know, you have to, why can't you do that? And they're saying that it has to be a certain status.
A certain what?
A certain status for them to be able to do that. They don't have access to resources that they should have access to. Okay, if they had these resources, they could use these resources and solve a lot of these cases and do a whole lot more than they can do, because the FBI got them.
Let's talk about the event on the 15th, January the 15th.
Okay.
What do you hope to accomplish? What are we going to do?
We are going to stand up in front of the Department of Justice, the earth shakers and the rule makers, and I mean it. We're going to stand up for our justice and our civil rights. We should have stuff written to us as well as everybody else. The police department, they work for them, so they have a certain amount of stipulations that they are under. Okay, but they're the ones that sit down at the tables and make these rules, and we need to stand up because these rules need to be changed. Okay, because these rules are not benefiting nobody but the villains. You hear me? They're not benefiting us. What about victim rights? I am tired of hearing about, you talk about what rights these criminals have. You worried about being sued. Well, what about us? We lost our loved ones.
That's right.
Now, suppose we become villains.
Exactly.
Because the thought came across my mind and come across a lot of people, but we're trying to do the things the right way, abide by your laws, okay? But your laws are not benefiting nobody but you. You know, they don't give us the resources, the money that they have, that they collected, and they want to use that money, but they used it the other day for that other young lady, and God knows I'm happy for her, but when you come down, you're going to use her because she works for MPD. Now, is that justice?
No, it's
That's
not.
a violation of our civil rights.
Yes, it is.
Civil rights means for everybody.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Miss Cook. Yes, it is.
That was real quick.
Yes.
And me and Rose, we were just speaking on
this
on our way to the studio. Exactly what you were saying. And we were speaking on Daryl Hurston. And like you said, that was real quick. And they caught this guy committing a crime, trying to rob somebody else. That's how quick they was on it. Caught him right, and he already had murdered 2 other people.
That's right.
And this was in what? Maybe when did this happen? Maybe 2 months ago.
It happened in August.
In August.
Yeah, it happened in August.
Wow.
It happened in August, but it goes back to community.
The school say ain't no special treatment.
No, it's it's not. But it goes back to community effort. The community putting in effort. The people talking. You know what I'm saying? People talking. That's what it goes back to.
Right.
You know, we have to stand up. We have to say something.
I believe the press was a little bit more
hard
for him.
Yeah, they was more harder.
Because of who he had
Yes. But see, that's why we have to put the press on their asses. That's why we have to be visible in those communities. I was telling you, Miss Cook, we're going to march all up and down Foot Street.
Yeah, because I'm having
Field Place.
We're gonna
all of them.
We're gonna try.
That's right.
we're gonna try to have a kind of like visual
Mm-hmm.
down there. But my next march, okay, it's gonna be for Americans all over that have these unsolved cases, because we're not the only one DNB. It's happening all over America. I'm meeting people from Oklahoma. I'm meeting people from Texas. I'm meeting people from Atlanta.
That's right.
That's coming out and talking about their children that has not been resolved. How many years they have had to wait? Okay, and some of them are still waiting. These are somebody's family members. Okay, we deserve the same rights, and majority of them are African American.
That's right.
So what? So and that's
75,000.
But we had Michael Hughes in here, and he came and seen us twice, and he had spoke on that. What was surprising, when his son went missing, he was saying the district only had one officer, right? I think one detective.
Yeah.
On those cases.
Right.
And I said
Prince George's County.
Prince George's County had one detective in that.
One detective
in that city with his son went missing.
Yeah. But I found out that far as Prince George's County, they don't have a command center. They don't have a commander. So wherever you go and report your person missing, your loved one missing, a detective out of that district is going to handle the case. They don't even have nobody that's specialized in that situation. They don't have it. Right. And these are things that, we have to start addressing. We have to start talking about this. Absolutely. We have to start, going down here in these people's face, and we have to. We have to start getting in these people's goddamn face and telling them what we need.
And you can't get in their face one time. You gotta
keep getting in their face. Yes, until it's done. Until it's done.
It's no answer, no peace. I'm asking mothers and fathers and family members to stand with me. In 2019, I mean it. We're going to march down Martin Luther King Avenue to the Lincoln Memorial, and I mean it. We're going to stand up, and we're going to stand up, and we're going to stand up until they bring justice to our people.
That's right. That's right. Just as simple as that. Just as simple as that. Just as simple as that. Oh my God.
Been missing?
It's been 8 months. April the 22nd, 2017 is when he went missing.
Give us Mrs. Taylor, she's on. That's what I was going to ask. Give us a description of Marty McMillan, the date, one more time, how people can reach out to you.
You can reach me, inbox me, and on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. If you want to, you can send me an email. My email address is FORLESLOVE @Comcast.net. You can reach me on my cell phone number, 301-801-8822. If you have any information or you like to stand with us on any of these rallies and marches to help us to stand up for justice for our children and our loved ones.
That's right.
I want to go to this Facebook Live right quick, Ms. Cook. And then next up, Ms. Bailey. Bring them on camera. Yeah, I want camera. They want to see. Mr. Johnson said they are not doing a damn thing at all. Talking about the police department. And somebody, Tiffany, I guess she had never heard this story. Very powerful, Ms. Cook. Speak up. Facebook Live, y'all, we are tuned in. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Download the free app, Hustle Firm Radio. You are now plugged into Focus Radio. 301-477-2616. I am Philip Hall. Bringing Our Children Home segment, 2.2 million viewers with Ms. Cook. And that event goes down the 15th, right?
Yes, January
the 15th.
That's right. Justice from 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock.
That's right.
Rose, it's your time to take over.
Yes.
Well, Miss Bailey.
Yes.
She's
indeed.
also plugged into Focus Radio. And what we are doing here, this is a platform to bring awareness. And what people do, they come to Focus Radio and they fight. And they fight. And they fight.
And we fight
about
with them.
And we talk about it. And we talk about it.
That's right.
We're going to keep on talking about it. So, Very Hat Show. Make sure you tune in right now. We are also live stream on YouTube. And also download the app and just go right to Focus Radio. Mrs. Angela Taylor's in the building. Black Rose is in the building. Miss Bailey Evans.
I want to introduce, yes,
Evans Bailey.
Miss Deborah Evans Bailey.
You didn't tell me that.
The mother of the beautiful Kendra Smith.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Yes, indeed. Kendra Smith was murdered back in 2004. And we have her mom here in the studio.
Now, Miss Bailey, I'm glad you are here, and folks, I'm glad you're here at Focus Radio. And the reason why I say that, this is like your story to me is kind of like the show Unsung, right? You've been fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. And Black Rose said, "Can we